House Appropriations Subcommittee on Labor, Economic Development, and Lifelong Learning will come to order. Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Chair Snyder.
Here.
Representatives Martis. Here. Carter. Present. Liberati.
Here.
Curry.
Here.
Farhat.
Here.
McKinney.
Here.
Van Workum.
Here.
Meerman. Beeson.
Here.
And Alexander.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, majority of members are present. You do have a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Representative Liberati moves to approve the minutes from the subcommittee meeting held on March 14th, 2024. Seeing no objection, the minutes are approved. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our subcommittee meeting this morning focused on Pure Michigan and the travel and hospitality industry. And we're excited to welcome our friends from Pure Michigan, the Travel Michigan office at MEDC, along with some stakeholders throughout the state in the hospitality industry. But first, we're going to start with Hillary Doe, the MEDC Chief Growth and Marketing Officer, Kelly Wolgamott, the MEDC Travel Marketing Director, and Carrie Ebersol Singh, the Chief Talent Solutions Officer for MEDC. And I apologize if I butchered your last name.
No. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate everybody giving us the opportunity to be here today, and certainly the topic. We're really grateful for the opportunity to talk about Pure Michigan, such an iconic campaign that we're thrilled to be able to share, has delivered such incredible results for the state of Michigan. As everyone shared, my name is Hillary Doe. I'm Chief Growth and Marketing Officer for the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. And even before the MEDC's recent restructure, I was Chief Growth Officer for the state of Michigan since June of last year, and have had the opportunity since then to get to be part of many conferences with the travel and tourism industry because since that day, I've been thrilled to really represent and share and celebrate with that industry how important a visit is to growing our state. It's a critical part of the funnel. When we think about growth and we think about inviting people to Michigan, whether that's as a visitor or a resident, it's evident that, and we know, and we will bear it out in the data here today, that a visit is such a critical part of that journey for anybody. The first time you unload your U-Haul in Michigan, it isn't just to move into your apartment, it's because you get the chance to visit our beautiful state. So when we look at that funnel from perception and awareness, realizing Michigan's a beautiful and cool and wonderful place to live, to visiting our beautiful places and experiencing wonderful opportunities here in Michigan, to maybe ultimately making that decision to be a resident. We're really hopeful that you'll get the chance to see today how those different campaigns, really with Pure Michigan as the heartbeat, give folks around our state, across our region, or across the country and around the world an opportunity to experience that. So I will get out of the way. I'm going to let Kelly Wolgamott, who's the Interim Vice President of Travel Michigan, give all of you that deep dive today. She's going to share some of the overview of the stats on Pure Michigan and also give you the chance to see some of that creative.
Thank you, Hillary, and thank you, Chair and Representatives. Kelly Wolgamott, as Hillary had mentioned, from Travel Michigan. I'm a native Michigander and have been had the pleasure over the last 12 years to work on the Pure Michigan campaign, and just love everything about our state, and looking forward to taking you through a little bit about Pure Michigan and how we're extending of the campaign with Pure Michigan of Keep It Fresh. In Pure Michigan, you can find a fresh outlook on life and keep it, and really the overall economic vibrancy of what travel does for the state, but also from a travel standpoint, there's a level of well-being, and travel is extremely important when visitors come to the state, that they can have a fresh outlook, and an important element of the authenticity of the Pure Michigan campaign. So let's just look at the economic impact of tourism. In 2022, this is the latest data that we do have, there was a tremendous upswing following the pandemic with visitor activity activity grew to $125 million, which nearly equalized back to 2019 levels. Direct visitor spending was at $27.3 billion, which was surpassed the 2019 levels by $800 million. Total economic impact of $48.5 billion. So let's look at the jobs supported through the tourism industry. There's over 320,000 jobs supported in the tourism industry, labor income of $14.2 billion, local and state tax revenue of $3.2 billion. So a tremendous play in 2022, bringing us back to the 2019 levels when it comes to visitor spend and visitor activity. So overall, campaign efforts, we do track the campaign efforts year over year. We just released our 2023 campaign efforts at the Pure Michigan Governor's Conference on Tourism last week. In 2023, our media spend was at $16.9 million. And how we measure that is to evaluate how the campaign, for every dollar that we're spending of that 16.9, we're bringing $9.21 back into the state. This ROI level, we've been tracking it for a number of years, and it is on par back to the 2018, 2019 levels. We are seeing an enhanced level of competition out there from other states, and it's incredibly important that we maintain that visibility for the state and Pure Michigan. Within this ROI, we had 1.5 million influenced trips of the campaign in 2023, and this is only reflective of regional and national visitors. Our spend was $2.5 billion, and we were averaging around $1,600 per traveler spend. And that also equated to around $156 million in sales tax. So a great reflection of the campaign and the efforts of that inspiring travelers to come to the state. So let's just look a little bit at international travelers. I talked about the domestic traveler, and we did see that resurgence in what we call the revenge traveler, because everyone after the pandemic was really looking forward to traveling again, and we saw that surge incredibly in 2022. International visits to Michigan by region in 2022 for international is still recovering. There's still a level of recovery that's required for international. Canada and Europe continue to be our two largest traveler visitor opportunities for the state. And it's reflected as well when you look at the spending overall for the top 15 markets of 2022. So I talked a bit about the recovery, and the international recovery is going to take a bit more time. We're expected now through 2026 to rates to start to dip back up from visitation to the pre-pandemic level, but it is going to take considerable amount of years, probably estimating to 2029 before we truly recover from the international traveler. This traveler is extremely important for the campaign and for the state. These visitors spend more days, up to 2 weeks in the state visiting, and their average spend is around $6,000 to $8,000. So a considerable important market that we can keep our eye on and continue promoting internationally. And internationally, we do promote in our neighbors next door in Canada, as well as the UK and Germany. So we recently did an impact study of awareness and visitation on economic drivers for the Pure Michigan campaign. As Hillary had mentioned, it starts with a visit. We're the front door for the state with the Pure Michigan campaign, and getting individuals to recognize the duality of city and outdoor experiences that you can have in the state, but also that extension. What does the campaign do when it comes to individuals that were aware and they also visited the state, versus those that were not aware of the campaign and did not visit? So a good place to live. 58% of the people that were aware of the Pure Michigan campaign and visited the state felt that this was a good place to live, versus those that were unaware of the campaign and did not visit. They had 26% of those individuals thought it was a good place to live. So you can see that the variance there, that it's incredible, and the power of the campaign when individuals are inspired by the Pure Michigan campaign, have the opportunity to come to the state for that visit, that travel visit, then they really do believe that this is a good place to live, a good place to start a career, to start a business. So the Pure Michigan campaign significantly lifted Michigan's reputation as a place to live, work, and study in the state's primary and out-of-state markets. People visiting Michigan who are aware of the brand campaign are even more likely to highly rate Michigan as a place to invest time, careers, and future. So in-state versus out-of-state, probably no surprise here, right? We love our state, and in-state residents also firmly believe in these economic categories that it's a great place to live, a great place for a career, and great place for business. And I would have to say this is a great opportunity for that retention of Michigan visitors that we love. The variables study, Michigan travelers rated the state highly than non-resident travelers, and Michigan residents love the economic opportunities and the quality of life that we have here in the state. It's just we need to get it out there, right? The message out there, and getting people to visit, that's where it starts to get that reflection. So let's look at our strategic imperatives. Pure Michigan campaign is, hard to believe, almost 20 years old. So over the last few years, we've been continuing to evaluate the campaign, how we can maintain relevancy with our target audience, and also be competitive. I talked about that competition out there. It is with other states. It is extremely competitive with the activity out there, and we need to be out there front and center to convince travelers that they need to come to Michigan. So it's imperative that we promote a diverse perspective in Michigan and how they fuel personal growth. And we worked with Jessica Care-Moore last year with Fresh Voices. I'm a Detroit summer. Falling for Pure Michigan was our fall campaign with her in the warmth of winter. She's a Detroit poet, and we can also send over links to these videos. But it really provides another voice within the campaign and a reflection of those communities that she visited. Accessibility is considerably important for Michigan. We are all about welcoming all to the state. And with the growing age of population, the mobility issues, it's imperative that we're ready to welcome these travelers to the state. Again, accessible travelers also have a higher amount that they also spend, and they do spend a little bit longer time in the state. So our second strategic imperative is to attract new people to the state through bolder brand partnerships and innovative content distribution. Working with TripAdvisor, we have a series of video content to represent the state. We have in Traverse City, Sleeping Bear Surf Company, and a little snapshot into that company and what it's like to surf on Lake Michigan by Sleeping Bear Dunes. We also are working with Native American focus for Detroit. I believe this is such a great recognition of the city of Detroit. We typically look at Native American culture in the northern parts of the state, but never really highlight it in Detroit, so I'm really excited about that. And we also have a clip in Kalamazoo as well, so showing those different personalities of our city experiences. And then we're going to harness the power of Pure Michigan to inspire more collaboration across all state audiences. And that's reflective of a collaboration with Pure Michigan, Michigan Economic Development Corporation, and Visit Detroit in supporting the NFL draft. And we worked with Sam Richardson to get Sam's selects of what he wants to see and do. You've seen it? Awesome. What you need to see and do when you come to Detroit. And it was really just a great reflection of different businesses in downtown Detroit that you can visit. We went to Hot Sam's, we went to Lafayette Coney. We also have a little cameo in the creative as well with Barry Sanders. So really great reflection of this collaboration and how we can target together for some all-state audiences. So our audience approach, just to give you an understanding, we are very targeted with the campaign. everyone's a traveler, right? It doesn't matter what your age is. So we're from Gen Z all the way up to the baby boomers. It's important that we do collectively target these audiences. They all have different levels of incomes, and actually Gen Z is probably going to be a little more wealthier than the millennials, so we're keeping our eyes on those targets as well as far as in their disposable income to travel. So we have refined roamers, we have experienced wanderers, exploring families, and active adventurers. So we're hitting, again, that duality of city and outdoor experiences that Michigan can provide from the travel experience. Critically important for the multicultural audience. It's a huge segment. 30% of the $1.29 trillion spent on U.S. leisure travel in 2022 was spent by the multicultural population. We have an incredible DEI campaign targeting Black, Hispanic, Asian Pacific. It's incredibly important that we target these audiences, and based on surveys that we have, everything we do is based on research and data. They are inclined to come to Michigan. They like the experiences that we can provide. So let's get into the campaign creative. So I talked a little bit about the transition of the campaign. We're still pure Michigan. We still have that solid foundation of being magical, mythical, and majestic. But then we're also bringing in a more personal, passionate, and playful side to the brand to try new things, share and protect what we love, and open your point of view. And I talked a bit about that well-being of travel and what that can do for you, and how that can, when you travel to Michigan, you have that opportunity to learn something about yourself that you may not have known before. So a little bit of fresh in review from the creative, and I'll share our first spot here.
A fresh voice can speak to you and open your ears and your mind to new views and new perspectives. The call of the wild, a crescendo of culture. Listen as a chorus of fresh voices moves you, taking you to greater heights. Add your voice to the mix and let Fresh answer back with perfect harmony in pure Michigan.
And that is the voice of Jessica Care Moore. We did also use her in some of the campaign spots. Just some images of some of the campaign out there in the wild, some out of home, some digital campaigns, more digital campaigns and seasonal campaigns. Print, we still do print. Print's still around and still an important element in our marketing mix. And I'm going to show just a reel here of just our overall accomplishments for the campaign in 2023. incredibly proud of that work that we completed in 2023, and I think it was important to share this video so you can see the amount of work that was completed. Just looking at Nat Geo, that relationship, the social alone, 21 million level of engagement there on those videos that we created with Nat Geo is just incredible, and over 19 billion impressions overall for the campaign, and the various touch points that we have across the channels is pretty incredible. So part of the campaign last year, we really wanted to get those voices out of our local communities. So I'm going to share one additional quick reel for you that highlights 4 separate social digital campaigns. We did GR Noir in Grand Rapids. We did Detroit Football Club, Marquette, the 60-plus rock climbing club, and then in Keweenaw, the mountain biking club. So these are real people in these. These are no actors at all within this campaign, but it kind of talks about those voices and what you can do. It starts with a visit, but this is what happens when you do live here in Pure, Michigan.
Okay, let's go. Back up.
We also have interviews with the individuals in each of these communities for blog content on michigan.org, but I think a really great representation of what you can experience in Pure, Michigan. Media approach, incredibly important that we deploy a mix, I mentioned this before, of awareness-driving tactics during peak travel planning periods to inspire travelers. We're actually setting back, our summer campaign actually begins in early February to try to get early travelers' visitation to the state in May and June. We have a mix of media, regional TV, digital, connected TV, radio, streaming audio, and paid social. These are a number of the vendors that we are partnering with on the campaign. Partner program, incredibly important to leverage the Pure Michigan brand locally, regionally, and statewide levels to bring that private, public-private collaboration and cooperation. It really provides a unified voice for the brand when we're partnering with different destinations like Visit Detroit or Traverse City, Gaylord, Marquette. This year, this is 2024, we have over $1 million invested from the CVBs, ranging from $2,500 to $25,000, and offering a number of different opportunities for the partners, whether it's social or from the OTA, online travel agencies, to content providers. And it's really a wonderful extension of the brand working with these partners. So that is my update today, and appreciate your time and interest in the Pure Michigan campaign. And I'll send it back to Hillary.
Great. And I know that we want to make sure you all have time for questions before we kick it back over to many great folks who are in the room from the industry, who I'm sure you want to hear from as well. The last sort of bit, I mentioned the funnel at the beginning, and our intention to move as many folks through it as we can and make sure that we spread the story of Michigan far and wide and move our metrics. So the last piece that we have here is an example of, as you well know, the other elements of our campaigns that we have sitting over at the MEDC that are inspired by some of the imagery that you just saw in the Pure Michigan campaign. So as we're moving folks through that funnel, we leveraged the brand equity and the incredible imagery that you saw in the Pure Michigan campaign to meet folks that maybe weren't in that initial travel audience at different points in their journey. perhaps folks who are at a different stage in life, recent graduates, folks who are, maybe more job seekers, folks who are looking for a place to live. And we also did a bunch of research and design when we were sort of contemplating how to convert visitors to residents, and identified that while folks have this incredible, because of Pure Michigan, perception of the kind of lifestyle that you can have in Michigan, there wasn't as much knowledge of the kind of jobs that are available in Michigan, of our economy, of, the kind of economic opportunity that's available to folks in Michigan. So what you'll see in some of those other campaigns is really inspired by a lot of the Pure Michigan imagery layered in with some of those, kind of economic opportunities that we have available here. And I brought an example for you all of that sort of talent campaign. Carrie Ebersol-Singh, my colleague, is here in the room as well. Because Carrie runs our Talent Solutions program at MEDC and is helping really tackle ensuring that our strategic employers across the state who have talent gaps and really need employees and seats, make sure that we get them there. And the UConn and Michigan campaign's call to action is to drive folks to a job portal and make sure we get signups into that jobs portal so folks can fill those seats. And it's a really different call to action than Pure Michigan's call to action, but inspired by that same brand equity and same imagery. So you'll see that, an example of that here. How do we get it to go? Do I press? Cool.
Everybody wants a healthy work life and life, where you can dream big in tech or medicine, or where you get to reinvent the automobile, all with easy access to this, and this. This is Michigan. This is where big careers shape the future. Your future. Want to start living your best life? You can in Michigan.
Cool.
Everybody wants a healthy work
forever.
life.
We'll see.
Everybody.
I have no idea. Okay, so maybe if I go back, it'll stop. Great. We'll end on the Pure Michigan slide. So, wanted to pause there. We have the full house here. Happy to answer any of your travel Michigan questions or anything else that might be on your minds, and hopefully that was a helpful overview.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I think our first question will be from Rep. Farhat.
Thank you, Chairman. And I want to say, I think Pure Michigan's approach in making a Michigan, I'll just call it a making Michigan lifestyle, where you can have go to see our beautiful natural resources on the weekends or during the day, and work at a Fortune 500 companies is amazing. I think it's attractive for a lot of folks to pick a state like that, and I'm curious if you can speak more on how maybe not so much how Pure Michigan feeds into talent attract. Wow, enunciation is hard today, folks. Attraction or retention even, and how that plays into our broader economic development strategy, right? I think again, we get a lot of visitors. I've read stats that Michigan is a destination for a lot of folks. How do we make it also a talent destination, right? And how is Pure Michigan maybe or other tools feeding or building onto that? So I think that's really important. I think this is an exciting way to do it, but I'm curious to hear from you folks.
I'll say something briefly and then turn it over to my colleagues. But like I said, we are really thinking comprehensively. All of us are working together every day to build a funnel that we think is as effective as it can possibly be. And I think that's best done if we work together comprehensively. I think we all agree on that. And if all these campaigns really do share similar DNA, which I think you'll see in all of them, building on the back of that brand equity, heartbeat, cornerstone of that iconic Pure Michigan brand. But as we know, that when we talked at the beginning about a visit being a critical part of the funnel, I think that the national statistic that we see is that, is it about 65%? 67. I always want to say 65. 67% of folks who ultimately move to a place, have visited previously. And so we know that is a critical part of the sort of journey for someone to move to a place, and that there are other steps along the process as well. So what we've seen in the last 18 months, 2 years, is we've layered on, in addition to the Pure Michigan Travel Campaign, other steps in the process, that including that last piece of creative that you saw, the UConn and Michigan campaign, that are intended to help drive with additional messaging that economic message to help convert those visitors to residents. And we've seen some really good early results. The campaign's only been in market now a little over 5 months, I guess about 6. And we are a little over 6,000 folks signed up in the jobs portal. There have been many more impressions than that, millions of folks who've seen the campaign. But that's really far down funnel for a marketing campaign. To get someone all the way from seeing, through clicking, through consideration, all the way down to signing up in a jobs portal saying, I want to consider working in Michigan and for a strategic employer here in our state, is a lot to ask of a marketing campaign that early in its life. And I think a really powerful signal that we're onto something. And it's a testament, frankly, to Pure Michigan as well as to, I think, the additional economic creative that's being layered on top of it. But I think, Carrie, it'd be great to hear from you as well as to, why it's so needed.
Yes, good morning, everyone, and thank you for having this discussion and including the talent piece as it is a critical part of the budget recommendation before you all. I just want to add to this question that before the full campaign launched, as Hillary mentioned about 6 months ago, we did some piloting in a very targeted way around strategic employers that were in state as well at our universities. And part of that is its retention as well. We don't want to be losing the people that we are spending our tax dollars on training throughout the PK-12 system, but then also in some of our public universities. So what does that look like? I know Representative Van Workum came by one of our press conferences at Shape Corporation. We added in targeting about the high-tech jobs that exist in the mobility industry. What did the Michigan Works office, who is a partner to us that we are adding grant dollars to, so from that ads in the regional market, we saw an uptick in applications directly to Shape Corporation. What we've heard from employers is, some employers, that if we can't fix our talent and workforce challenges, we're going to have to look elsewhere. Okay, so this gets back to we need to ensure we are delivering what we can do in a very smart, strategic way. So this isn't just about me and our team designing PK through career solutions with really some innovative pieces like the video, the portal that I know in the PK-12 system that has been launched last year and recruiting internships. But the marketing piece is a key piece that helps. As Hillary said, how many times did she say funnel? Did anyone count? But it's a key piece of the funnel that then drives down not only helping a retention strategy and letting folks know that they may have access to the Michigander Scholars program as well. So just wanted to add those tidbits.
Chair, if I may just really quickly.
Yep.
I think that it's a very interesting, 67% is a really high number. Do we know, and I don't know if we track this data, I'm just curious, is there a metric we use to track maybe the number of times somebody revisits our state or comes back? If you visited once, do people come back or do they explore other areas? I don't know if we track that at all. Again, it might be tough, but I'm just curious if we have any data or any indicators we look at when considering if they come back.
That's difficult based on the confidentiality, opportunities that we get to track people. We get to track people in a lot of different formats on your cell phone when you come into the state, but we have no visibility if, who that individual is, where their personal information. So there's no way for us to layer back and to dive into that to see if they are, a repeat visitor.
I bet our regional partners are used to seeing the same faces.
Right, exactly.
Maybe we'll hear that from them.
For sure. I appreciate it, and I appreciate the work you folks are doing. Thank you, Chair.
Vice Chair Van Workum.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. From appropriations perspective, can you break down for us what the cost is for production versus cost of actual advertising?
So, it's in 23, we had a media buy of around 16.9 million from our appropriations. So I would say, the majority of our 80% of our dollars are going towards the media buy, And then the production dollars would be to produce and get new photography, get new filming. That's usually generally around 25%. It's hard to give you definitive numbers, the remaining budget. It's different every year based on the allocation and what our strategic plans are with the campaign. So I would say the majority of our dollars are going towards the media campaign with that's a very much smaller allocation that goes to the production of our creative. And we do reuse creative year over year. So the creative that we completed in 2023 with the Fresh Voices with Jessica Caremore, and plus the video content, the seasonal video content that we created with Jessica Caremore, we're reusing that again this year. So we get multiple years out of our creative.
Representative Martis. Vice
Thank-
Chair Martis.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you guys for being here to testify today. And stroke of genius, including Sam Richardson. If I need to pass a resolution to say Sam Richardson and Tim Robinson's show Detroiters needs to come back for season 3, we can talk to LSB about doing that. I'm curious, though, again, including folks like Sam Richardson, a lot of the other celebrities that come from Michigan, really shows the host of talent we have in Michigan. And I'm wondering if you can flesh out a little bit more strategically what areas of the country and maybe what types of people we're trying to get to visit Michigan. Are we in a regional competition of trying to get folks from Ohio and Indiana? Are we looking nationwide, whether it's the impact of climate change in certain areas? Michigan is not going to be underwater unlike some of our other counterparts. Is it a business standpoint? Look at the businesses we're growing here. I'm sure it's a very complex answer, but could you flesh out a little bit more of, what areas of the country are we trying to get people to move from to Michigan, and what are those strategies that we're employing?
Do you want to talk about the move part? I can talk about the travel part. So the travel part, we're looking from travelers from everywhere. So specifically regional markets, like you mentioned, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Minnesota, Wisconsin, critical markets, no doubt, for the state. Thinking about the Upper Peninsula, Minnesota and Wisconsin are a critical asset for the Upper Peninsula from a seasonality standpoint, and that's something that we work very hard. We're a premier 4-season destination, and trying to concentrate our focus to provide a level of visitor within our all 4 seasons to help out the communities, especially in the Upper Peninsula, with what they've encountered this past winter. But nationally is critically important. Again, internationally is important. They stay longer, even nationally. The further away they come, the more time they're going to spend, the more money they're going to spend. You talk about climate. We target specifically in Texas 100-degree days, multiple days in the row. That's miserable, right? So we target specifically the comfortable, mild summers that we have. Come up here, play golf. You can start golfing at 7 a.m. and it's still light at 10 p.m. It provides the traveler the opportunity that you can, an experience that you can't get anywhere else. So we do target specifically, and it is, again, year by year where we're going to target, but regionally, nationally, and internationally.
And then I would just layer in as it relates to, again, the funnel. I don't know, someone should count. I don't know, it's a game. As we move into some of our other campaigns for talent, for example, we do, of course, as Carrie was mentioning, strategic in-state deployments to support some of our strategic employers, regional deployments. But then we're also very much national campaign. We want talent across the country to know about Michigan. Regionally, we see a lot of visits from Illinois and pay a lot of attention to that. We have both a trade campaign, but also a high-tech campaign, and want knowledge economy jobs and folks with those degrees to come to Michigan. We see a lot of visits from Illinois. Interestingly, out-of-state applicants, the most out-of-state applicants are coming from Texas currently, which was an interesting fact. And we're doing heavy ups in markets across the country where we see lots of tech talent. I'm also very cognizant of places where we see migrations from Michigan to. So we've seen lots of folks move to, for example, Atlanta, move to Houston, and we're very cognizant of that and conscious that we want to make sure they know what a great place Michigan is to call home, and there's some low-hanging fruit in those markets, and conscious of where we're seeing micro-migrations from Michigan too, so that we can advertise there as well. So very much a national campaign.
Thank you. Last question from Rep. Beeson.
Hi, thank you very much. Thanks, Chairman. My question is I'm scrolling while we sit here. I get right into the nuts and bolts. And I'm looking at a Pure Michigan calendar. I need to know how the best county, which is Bay County, the 96th district, and you know Megan, she like, how do we get our stuff in here? Because I went through it and I don't see anything like I'm just looking real quick, and we got the biggest fish thing coming up in the Tippecanoe River, and it's not even here for the Freeland, and that's not even my area, that's Beer Line's area, but it's the biggest yard sale and party and it draws people into Freeland for fishing, and I can't find it on here, so I need to know, how do we...
First of all, I want to go.
Yeah, it's you can't even get through town. It's the worst. Like, when you go through Freeland, you can't even get through town, and there's fresh fish everywhere, and like it's a nightmare to try to go through when you're an appraiser trying to appraise for a house this week, but the last weekend of April. But I don't see this. How do we get our areas on this calendar?
So easy to do. All you need to do is connect with me and we'll make certain by the end of the day that is on michigan.org. It's free opportunity for all the events in the state to put on michigan.org. We get over 1 million visitors every month. Highly visible, and the area that you're going to is the most recognized from visitors. They're looking for those events, what they can do when they come here to the state. So we'll make certain that we get that on, and yes, my team can do that.
Thank you.
So what are we doing this weekend, Beeson?
It's the end of the month. It's the trout season. It's open all over, so it's everywhere, like Omer, sucker fishing, it's steelhead fishing, everything opens there. But I'm going to tell you, the most people, Freeland, which is not even my area, it's Beer Lines, but we all go travel to that area, so...
Well, thank you for being here this morning. I
you.
appreciate your presentation and answering some questions.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Next, we are going to have Chris Moyer, Senior Director of Communications for Visit Detroit, and I believe on Zoom, Susan Essler, CEO of Visit Marquette, and the President of the Michigan Association of Convention and Visitors Bureaus for their presentation on behalf of Michigan Association of Convention and Visitors Bureaus.
Thank you, Chairman Snyder and the committee, and thank you for the opportunity to testify. My name is Susan Essler, and I'm the CEO of Travel Marquette, the president of the Michigan Association of Convention and Visitors Bureaus, and a travel commissioner. Pure Michigan is one of the most recognized travel brands in the world. My previous position was in Pennsylvania, where at the time there was virtually no tourism budget, no state organization. The Pure Michigan campaign was one of the reasons I accepted my current position in Marquette. As president of the Michigan Association of Convention and Visitors Bureaus, I've reached out to most of the bureau directors in the state. Pure Michigan is critically important to all the bureaus, large and small, because of its reach. It helps to promote all areas of the state by advertising in markets and mediums that we can't afford individually. Additionally, the bureaus have come to depend on the co-op advertising to maximize our budgets. Larger budgets such as Destination Ann Arbor, Traverse City Tourism, and Experience Grand Rapids partner on broadcast opportunities. Many small and mid-sized bureaus participate through social media and online advertising. A strong budget for Pure Michigan means more marketing opportunities for all of us. This campaign brings visitors who keep the coffee shops open, who rent kayaks and bikes, and they purchase equipment while they're here. They also make memories, and they also plan future. And like it's been said before, it all starts with a visit. The Keep It Fresh campaign that Travel Michigan has launched last year has been well received and provides different voices and experiences throughout the state. It proves to be more inclusive with a wider reach for potential visitors and future residents wanting to work and play in Michigan. In 2023, content creators with multicultural audiences were visiting Oscoda, Detroit, Sault Ste. Marie, Tequaman Falls, and Holland, and they produce content on their social media channels. Other partnerships included a Taste for Travel, partnering with Traverse City, the Established Home with Grand Rapids, and there was also an ad that featured bicyclists in Marquette, and that was on Hulu, and it was part of a larger sponsorship in out-of-state markets such as Atlanta, Chicago, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, and Minneapolis, as well as in-state. We never would be able to reach those partners without Travel Michigan. In 2023, this partnership program included 37 industry partners and private sector funds for television, digital, and online campaigns. Travel Michigan matched the private sector dollar for dollar. Another great investment that Travel Michigan makes for the state and our individual destinations is the international market. Germany and the UK are solid markets for Michigan. International travelers stay longer and spend more money, as you've heard before. Without Pure Michigan, many bureaus would be unable to consider international marketing. Without additional investments, Michigan will fall behind. An impactful state brand like Pure Michigan gives all areas of the state a leg up in promoting our individual areas and is vitally important for all of us. The newly formed Tourism and Hospitality Alliance is asking for $50 million budget for Pure Michigan, and we would agree. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much to my colleague, Susan Essler, up in Marquette. Good morning, Chair. Good morning, representatives. My name's Chris Moyer. I'm the Senior Director of Communication for Visit Detroit, the very first convention and visitor bureau in the world. We were founded in 1896. We've been around for 128 years. I'd say we're looking pretty good right now. Our job is to promote Detroit, Macomb County, Oakland County, and Wayne County to the world by attracting visitors, meetings, conventions, and events. Detroit and Michigan have been global leaders for more than a century in innovation, arts, culture, and now our incredible culinary scene as well. Cars wouldn't be cars, music wouldn't be music, and your world wouldn't be your world without Detroit. Detroit is the birthplace of 5 genres of music, including Motown and techno. We're the home to the first paved road, the first stop sign, the first tricolor traffic light, and now the very first electric vehicle charging road. The Detroit metro area, along with Windsor, is the second largest border region by population in the world and the largest in North America. Our story is one that we can be exceptionally proud of, but it is one that we cannot tell alone. Partnering with Travel Michigan on the Pure Michigan campaign helps us expand and enhance the reach of our brand around the world. While many people think of Traverse City, Mackinac Island, and of course Marquette as quintessential Pure Michigan destinations, the truth is 40% of all visitors to the state come to Macomb, Oakland, Wayne County, and the great city of Detroit. Detroit is the very heart of Pure Michigan. Last year, we welcomed 17 million visitors to the region, contributing $10 billion in economic activity. That helps put carpenters, electricians, and many other skilled trades to work building our economy. Tourism, meetings, conventions, and events means good union jobs that support families. Pure Michigan funding also helps power restaurants, hotels, and entrepreneurs in the Detroit region. Travel and tourism provide great employment and business opportunity to more than 100,000 people in Southeast Michigan alone. Of course, this isn't just about travel and tourism today. It's also about what travel can mean in attracting people to live, work, and play, and of course, invest in our state. Over the last year, bipartisan leaders throughout our state have prioritized a return to growth. Perhaps one of the boldest and most impressive moves was appointing Hillary Doe, our Chief Growth Officer. Visit Detroit is proud to be part of the statewide effort to grow Michigan. As we work to retain and attract talent throughout the state, it is essential that we tell our story. That's why Visit Detroit, the Michigan Convention and Visitor Bureau, and our partners at the Michigan Hospitality Alliance are requesting $50 million in funding for Travel Michigan. Pure Michigan's story is a growth story for Detroit and our state if we give them the tools to compete and win. As we've already heard this morning from Travel Michigan's Kelly Wolgamott, there is a direct correlation between tourism and attracting potential new residents. In Detroit, we're exceptionally proud to be hosting the NFL Draft 1 week from today. We anticipate welcoming hundreds of thousands of visitors from all over Michigan, all 83 counties, all 50 states, and around the world. Additionally, tens of millions more people will watch the event on TV. Success in hosting events is a lot like success on the football field. It takes a remarkable team. We would not be able to host the event without the leadership of the MEDC, Governor Whitmer, bipartisan legislators, and Travel Michigan. Thank you all for your support. We're really excited for next week. The draft is a seminal event that will demonstrate to 10-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 20-year-olds living in Detroit, in Canton, in Kalamazoo, and Marquette that big things happen in our state, and they do not need to leave Michigan to achieve their dreams. It will also show the 10-year-old, the 15-year-old, the 20-year-old living in Miami, Nashville, Denver, that Detroit is a city of exceptional beauty, vitality, and opportunity. That vision is made possible by Pure Michigan and Visit Detroit. With 90 hours of TV coverage focusing on the draft and Detroit next week, the eyes of the nation will truly be honest. But it is important to remember that 99% of our visitors will come the other 362 days out of the year because of the work we do with Travel Michigan to attract visitors, events, and billions of dollars of investment in our state. Thank you all for making sure that Pure Michigan is funded to help grow Detroit, our region, and Michigan.
Thank you, Chris. Questions for Chris, I believe Representative Carter.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair, for putting me on the spot. As the chair of the Detroit caucus, you guys have done a phenomenal job. We've had a couple national conventions from folks all over the Midwest and Canada, and they're talking about coming back. So continue to do the good work. And I can't add anything that you said other than, Detroit is the heart of the state of Michigan. Just like Atlanta is the heart of Georgia. Chicago is the heart of Illinois. We need to do better as a state because all roads lead there and they expand out. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Carter. I fully agree with that. As Detroit does well, Michigan does well.
Go fish.
We have great fishing in Detroit as well, and all over our state.
Any further questions?
Rep Benson is 100% right there.
Any further questions? Seeing none, thank you so much for both being here this morning.
Thank you so much. Go Lions, and let's have a great week in Detroit next week.
Looking forward to it. Next, we have with us Justin Winslow, CEO of the Michigan Restaurant and Lodging Association, and Mickey McWilliams, President of the Michigan Snow Sports Association. Good morning, and thank you for being here.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it, members of the committee. My name is Justin Winslow. I am the president and CEO of the Michigan Restaurant and Lodging Association. Here today representing our 5,600 members who are hotels, who are resorts, restaurants, and bars across the state of Michigan. But also here as a founding member of the Michigan Hospitality and Tourism Alliance. With me digitally today, and we can see her on the screen now, is Liz Ware of Mission Point Resort, a designee to the Alliance from the Michigan Travel Commission. And also with me today is Mickey McWilliams of the Michigan Snow Sports Industries Association. So the three of us are going to testify. I will try to be as brief as possible. The Alliance was formed earlier this year in part to unify our voice as the broader hospitality, travel, and tourism industry. The driving need to do so centered on more effectively communicating the importance of robust Pure Michigan tourism campaign-specific funding to the success of our industry. And in short, and to be fairly blunt, current funding at $15 million for the Pure Michigan tourism campaign in the current fiscal year and as proposed for the year ahead is simply not enough. It's not enough to sustain the $50 billion industry and the nearly 500,000 jobs that we have proudly built here in Michigan. It's not enough to effectively compete with many of our surrounding states that have invested a lot of federal funding in recent years to outspend Michigan. Wisconsin, Illinois, Minnesota come to mind. And it's not enough for Michigan residents, a sizable majority of which believe the state should fund the Pure Michigan campaign in line with the approach of the Michigan Hospitality and Tourism Alliance, which you heard Mr. Moyer with Visit Detroit just mention a minute ago. We did share some polling with you, summaries of which I believe are on an infographic shared with you. We have a majority of which certainly believe that more funding is necessary, and 2/3 believe that once they understand the ROI that comes with Pure Michigan funding, that they are all in, right? That they believe that more funding is necessary. As you heard Kelly Wolgamott earlier talk about some of that ROI, that we're not quite as high as we were, over $11 in 2022 for the investment, but still to be over $9 for every dollar the state spends in tax revenue. So every dollar we are putting into the Pure Michigan campaign, we are getting over $9 back in specific tax revenue that benefits all Michiganders. It's fantastic. So I will reiterate what you heard from Chris Moyer. The Michigan Hospitality and Tourism Alliance has unified around a request of $50 million in Pure Michigan tourism campaign specific funding for fiscal year 2025 to stabilize our industry, to improve taxable return on Michigan taxpayers' investment, and then long term and outside of this committee to ultimately secure a stable, non-GF specific approach to Pure Michigan funding, so we're not having this discussion in earnest every single year. To conclude, I'll just say briefly, I just got back very late last night from Washington, D.C. People who do what I do in all of the other states were gathered. We always talk about our respective tourism campaigns. And to a one, every one of them is jealous of the Pure Michigan campaign. They wish they had it in their state. They know it's effective. They know it works. And so in short, we know we have the burden of hand here. We know the investment is worthwhile. On behalf of the Alliance, we are requesting an increase in funding for the coming year. I'm happy to answer any questions, but I also don't want to take any time away from Liz or Mickey, who have great testimony as well.
So why don't we have Liz go next?
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? Great.
Yes.
Good morning. Good morning from Mackinac Island, where we are set to open next Friday for our season. This will be the 10th season that the Ware family has opened Mission Point Resort on the island, and we're very excited. You know, we're only open for 6 months a year. We have to get a lot of business done in that short 6-month period of time. How did our family get to Mission Point and Mackinac Island? It is really a pure Michigan story that starts with a bus wrap and television ads in the Chicago market. I lived in Chicago, loved Chicago, lived downtown, and I came to Mackinac Island on a boat race. And from there fell in love with the island, and our family invested heavily in the island. At Mission Point, we have 60 full-time year-round employees, and in the summer we have 338 employees. So in the summer we have our guests come, and in the winter we have a second season, and that's called construction season. Everything that we make at Mission Point is reinvested into the property. That allows us to hire contractors, architects. We support the grocery stores, truck drivers. All of that part is a part of a larger economy. Right now, what we're seeing is we're pacing about 6% behind where we were same time last year. That's about 2,500 room nights. If we don't make those numbers, then we can't continue our second season, which is our construction season, where we reinvest. When we look at where people are coming from, we see that people are coming from, 60% are coming from the in-state market, 40% come from out of state. Those markets are the regional markets, very important. The Illinois, Ohio, Wisconsin, Minnesota, extremely important to us. But you were asking where other people are coming. They're coming from Texas. They're coming from Georgia. They're coming from Florida, New York, and California. Those are also very important markets. Those are markets that I can't, as a small family-owned resort, I can't reach those markets all by myself. I need Pure Michigan. We on the island need Pure Michigan. We are 100% tourism-based economy, and travel is economic development, and it supports the entire Upper Peninsula, whether it is the winter season in Marquette or the summer season in Mackinac Island. Pure Michigan campaign is absolutely vital to what we do and what we can continue to do. Does anyone have any questions of me?
I don't see any yet. We will go to Mickey from the Snow Sports Association.
Good morning, and thank you, Chairman Snyder and members of the committee for taking time to hear my testimony. My name, as you know, is Mickey McWilliams, and I'm the president of the Michigan Snow Sports Industries Association. It's the trade organization for the ski industry in our state. I'm also on the board member of the Michigan Hospitality and Tourism Alliance. I'm here to ask you to increase the funding for Pure Michigan campaign to $50 million, as you've heard from the others as well, for the coming fiscal year, and to do it, and this is important, before summer recess. I want you to be aware that if funding isn't approved in a timely manner and with a large enough budget, the winter advertising campaign is either cut or greatly diminished. It takes time to create ad campaigns and to buy media. When the folks at Travel Michigan don't know their budget, they can't plan. Unfortunately, the winter campaign is the one that suffers since it's the first season in Michigan's fiscal year. If the budget isn't approved until October, Travel Michigan doesn't have the time to create a winter campaign. Plus, with the current Pure Michigan ad budget the way it stands right now, Travel Michigan doesn't have ample funds to offer a winter partnership program where travel and tourism entities like MSIA match Travel Michigan's investment, creating a 50% increase in marketing dollars. Not knowing if this Pure Michigan Partnership Program is going to be available makes it extremely difficult for us to plan our advertising for the winter. We have skin in the game and want to invest in the Pure Michigan program, but can't unless there's a program to invest in. This past winter was the warmest and most challenging that I've experienced in my 30-plus years with MSIA. In total, Michigan ski areas have incurred losses of over $41 million due to the lack of snow and unseasonably warm temperatures. This is money they can't recoup when tourism accounts for nearly 1/3 of Michigan's travel dollars. Ski areas are a driving force for tourism, and especially this coming winter, desperately need an early marketing push to encourage travelers to visit our slopes and trails, stay in our world-class resorts, hit the water parks, zip lines, and enjoy our other winter recreational activities as we compete for travelers from the surrounding Great Lakes states. The importance of a strong winter season plays into the financial viability of resorts in Michigan. A marketing push this fall can help us set the tone, create excitement for snow sports, and remind visitors that we do have snow, even if there isn't any in their backyard. Our industry is a vital part of Michigan's economy and cultural identity. In many cases, the ski resort is the largest employer in the county. The jobs that the ski industry creates can't be outsourced. It would be hard to move one of our ski hills or to another state or outsource ski lift attendants. Our government is aggressively marketing, as you've heard, for businesses to relocate here. And our ski areas contribute directly to this appeal, since no matter where you live in our state, you're within a 2.5-hour drive of a ski area. No other state has that bragging right. In conclusion, I urge you to approve a budget of $50 million for Pure Michigan campaign and to do it swiftly so there's ample time to promote winter tourism this year when it is so desperately needed. Thank you.
Thank you. And I don't see any questions for you guys, but I appreciate you, all three of you, being here this morning. I lied. He can't help himself.
I can't, no.
Rep Farhat.
Thank you, Chair. You know, before we move on, is the lady from Mission Point still here on Zoom?
Yeah, I believe Liz is still on
Liz,
Zoom.
yeah. Well, just, you know, I was going to make a joke about finding a room for the policy conference. But
Please.
No.
That's not quote of the day.
No.
That's not quote of the day. It's a slow news day or something around here.
No, I know, right? And I don't see anyone from I don't know if they're here. Maybe they are. But either way, I was going to make a joke. I will not actually pose it as a serious question, though. Thank you, Chair.
Well, I want to thank everybody for being here this morning, from the department, from the Travel Michigan office, and all of our partners in the hospitality industry across the state from many different sectors. I really appreciate the passion of everybody and the importance of what pure Michigan means to economic development in our state. And I encourage everybody to stay tuned next week as we move forward in the budget process here, and we will be back to report our House version of the Leo and Miley budgets next week. So thank you all for being here. With that said, Representative Van Workum moves to excuse absent members. Seeing no objection, absent members are excused, and the committee stands adjourned.